I am with Sharon Harmon, a holistic health PhD and frequency guru. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So tell me about what you do.
Well, what I do is a bit unusual because I work with frequencies, and I can see what's going on inside a person and around them by looking at their frequencies. But I came upon this because I'm a very sensitive person, and I'm what some people call a canary in the coal mine, because I am affected by things that other people aren't typically affected by. And I didn't know this about myself. When I was young, I was one of those kids who was always a little sickly, never was feeling quite right, and my mom kind of learned to brush it off, and I learned in my 30s that I'm what's called an empath and a sensitive, and that means I'm somebody that picks up other people's energies. And so if someone has a headache, for example, that's near me, I might get a headache. Wow. And so all these different aches and pains that I had as a child weren't usually my own. So I, at this point, don't know what was mine and what wasn't. But then later in life, I had some other health issues. I was working as a professional interior designer in corporate world and got very toxic. And all the usual things that you would do were too strong for me, so I had to find gentler ways of working with my body. So it all ties into being a sensitive person.
With that, I want to ask you right away, what frequency are you feeling? What from me? What's the energy you're feeling from me? Am I giving off anything? Because clearly it's like, oh my gosh, what are you feeling? But that being said, the work that you do, because now you're a PhD, and when you say that you're very highly sensitive and you are picking up from other people, how are you turning that into helping people that are just like you, highly sensitive?
Yeah, that's a good question, because there's a lot more of us than we realize, and I didn't find out about it till I was in my 30s, and then because I'm sensitive, I pick up other things faster than the other person, and as I learned how to help myself, I knew I needed to help other people, and it really came to fruition when I had my child. I didn't have my first child till I was 42, and watching him grow up and seeing him hold off, and when we joined a group, he would hang back and kind of just observe everything. And I'm like, oh, wow, I used to do that as a child. And then seeing that and just noticing the other kids, that a lot of kids are very sensitive, especially when they're younger, because they haven't been around, they haven't been exposed to too many things yet. They're still innocent. So I like working with people and looking at, I don't feel the frequencies. Sometimes, I can feel if someone is feeling good or bad and negative and that type of thing. But I use software to check somebody's using Tesla technology to check their frequencies, and also I use muscle testing to check frequencies and then teach people. So for me, for example, when all the EMF and wireless technologies came out, I was really feeling it, and it really affected my health. And it took me a while to figure out, because this is way in the early days before anybody realized. It first happened in a home that had really old electrical system in it, and so we were affected that way. So things that have happened to me, I am trying to teach other people so that it doesn't happen to other people and they can catch it before that. So as I work with people and check their frequencies, I can shift their frequencies using the software that I use, but I also teach them about about EMF awareness and how to reduce the wireless in their home, for example, because that ramps up your own sensitivity. So that's why today there's more people who are sensitive, because of the Wi-Fi in particular. It's putting us in hyperdrive.
So when you say sensitive, how do I know if I'm sensitive to the technology, or what would I feel inside? What would someone feel inside their body if they were really sensitive to something?
Well, that's the tricky part, because no two people are the same, and it depends on where your weaknesses are in the body. So some initial signs usually for people are headaches or tingling in their hands or their feet for no reason. Especially people will hold their phones for a long period of time or hold it by their ear. They might get tingling or a pain in their ear. It could be all sorts of things, but we are holding our devices by our digestive system, so you might have digestive issues that are halfway related to EMF, not only the foods that you're eating. So there's a lot of interconnected things that I look at that the average person doesn't.
Interesting. And then you would heal that through the frequency technology that you have?
That and making lifestyle modifications.
Okay.
Because you can't just frequency yourself out of something.
Right.
You got to get rid of the culprits, but at the same time, you don't want to be afraid of stuff. I also teach people about, because we're all energy beings, we have all these energy fields emanating from us. We can pick up other people's negative feelings without realizing it. Whether you're sensitive or not, we're still doing it.
Right.
And so I teach people tools to clear their energy fields at home, and especially for moms to clear their kids' energy fields, to cut their cords, because when we walk by a person, their energy will connect to us,
Yeah.
you know. And
So interesting.
whether those cords stay connected, you don't know. It depends on the person. So
That's
just
really
teach a lot of different things that from different standpoints to help a person. It just depends on the person because everybody's unique.
Okay. And do you do one-on-one consulting, or do you have patients? Do you have events or workshops? Anything that people can?
I see clients one-on-one, but
Okay.
with what I do, it has to be in person.
Okay.
So I do that's pretty limited, but I'm starting to put more courses together, online courses, so that anybody can learn some things. Like muscle testing I'm a big proponent of muscle testing, and anybody can learn to do it. And then you can hold the foods and figure out, oh, this food yes, it's good for me, or no, it's bad for me. So you can figure out a lot of things on your own once you become proficient at muscle testing. So that was my first course, and I'm in the process of putting one together for highly sensitive kids. So some of the tools I just mentioned will be in the course, but it will also talk about how to reduce EMFs as well as other lifestyle factors, because if you're more toxic, you'll be more sensitive to EMFs, for example.
But I just think in general with my 4-year-old, I don't want her to be around it, but in our home, it's like the TV's on, 2 people are on their computer, someone's on their phone, and it's like, how do you make sure their little bodies aren't getting all that?
Yeah, and they're more susceptible.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I just want to put her in a bubble, but
that's
that's not really going to happen.
Well, I know for me, I've wired my office and my home, so everything's wired. The Wi-Fi is never on unless my husband's using his iPad for a little while.
Right.
But
That's
it's
smart.
just there's certain steps you can take. Some are easy and some are a little bit more difficult. But just putting your phone on airplane mode as much as possible is the first quick step, and then looking to see if you have a smart meter on your home is another big step.
Okay.
And easy to do, because if it depends on where you're spending the most time and where that's located, for example. And then another easy step is turning off the Wi-Fi at night, because at night you're regenerating and healing. Your body is automatically, and your brain is detoxing. So if your Wi-Fi is off at night, you'll get a better sleep and a deeper sleep. So that happens automatically.
Oh, those are great tips. And is there 1 or 2 tips you can give a parent who has a sensitive child?
Grounding in the earth is the biggest and easiest thing to do, especially if you have a child. I advise all parents to get their kids out as much as possible, because the sun, the earth has healing frequencies, and those will counteract. So what I teach people is start looking at your life as negative frequencies versus positive frequencies, and putting in as many positive as you can on a daily basis. And I have a freebie on my website that talks about that. I think it's 9 or 10 things you can do on a daily basis.
Great. Yeah. Well, that is such important information we need. So thank you for your work. And how can everyone find you?
Well, my website is SharonHarmon.com, just my name, and I'm on Instagram. I do have a lot of tips on Instagram. That's another place people can go. I talk about positive frequencies and how to counteract the negative, and I give a lot of tips about reducing EMFs and wireless radiation.
Great.
On my Instagram.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course.